Ramana Maharshi's 40 verses on reality. Ulladu Narpadu. Invocation. Reality exists as the heart, your very being. If reality did not exist, could there be any knowledge of existence? Free from all thoughts, reality abides in the heart, the source of all thoughts. It is therefore called the heart. How then is one to contemplate it? To be as it is in the heart is its contemplation. First is reality. If there was no reality, would you even exist? But you do exist, and you know you exist. You know reality, directly and immediately. To notice this reality, all you have to do is to look within yourself. Reality is everywhere. If we trace this reality to where it comes from, we find it is from deep within, deeper than any thought. This reality is there even when thoughts are not. Thoughts appear in reality, not the other way around. So if you trace the origin of the sense of reality within you, you will find the open space of consciousness. This open space of consciousness is also your own real identity. It remains always, and it is untouched by everything that you think affects you. It is the core of your being, the heart. What we really are seeking, what we really want to know, is within ourselves. One way to find it is to inquire. Look deep within, questioning, is this who I am? And noticing everything that comes and goes. What is it that does not come and go? That is with you always. Just notice. Deathless are they who know the self. Those who know intense fear of death seek refuge only at the feet of the Lord who has neither death nor birth. Dead to themselves and their possessions, can the thought of death occur to them again? Deathless are they. This shows the basis for Ramana Maharshi's own realization, which started when he searched within for the answer to life and death at the age of 14. He found within himself that that which never dies is his deepest identity. He was free. Free from old ideas, free from gain or loss, and free from all possessions, free of the body and ego. Who dies? The body is born and so must die. Within us, as our very self, is the existence and consciousness that lights up our mind, our senses, and our body. Does existence ever die? Consciousness? Do you die? When you know yourself as this unlimited existence, consciousness, then of what value is any transitory thing? What you have and are is always. You know you were never born and so will never die. Do you exist? How do you know this? Except by your own inner light. Where does this light come from? This is a good inquiry. Who knows this? Knowing this, you find something, not a thing, but consciousness, vast and without boundary. It is consciousness being or existence. Being and consciousness are not two separate things, but one thing, indivisible. Can you ever find one without the other? Look and see within yourself. Does this existence ever die? If this is your own nature, do you die? This leads to freedom and peace. How can you want anything since you are vast and partless? No separation means there is no other thing to want. You are all. From our perception of the world, there follows acceptance of a unique first principle, possessing various powers. Pictures of name and form, the person who sees, the screen on which he sees, and the light by which he sees. He himself is all of these. Since we exist and perceive an external world, there must be a cause, a higher power, something greater than our individual self, one reality which underlies the appearance of both the seer and what is seen, existence, consciousness. Perceptions play out on the screen of consciousness, as does everything with a name or form. This includes this seeming person that sees the screen itself, and the light by which the screen is lit. All of this, the seer, the screen, and what is seen, is yourself, your deepest identity, not the imagined identity that you hold to as real and who you are. It is like we are at the movies, only to discover we are the screen, not the movie. Is the screen ever burned by the fire in the movie? This self is the first principle, written about in the first sentence. Right now, do you exist? You do exist, and you know you exist. Without using mind or senses, you know you exist. If you are looking within for who you are, how can any of these changing things be you? You feel like you, the same one all the time. What is it that is present all the time within yourself? When you look through your senses, you see myriads of objects and complexities. When you look directly into yourself, what you find is most singular. Do you have two existences? Or just one? Are there two selves within one to see the other? Or just one? Not three, but only one. All religions postulate the three fundamentals, the world, the soul, and God. But it is only the one reality that manifests itself as these three. One can say, the three are really three, only so long as the ego lasts. Therefore, to inhere in one's own being where the I or ego is dead is the perfect state. First, we imagine that we are a separate self, and then we see a world populated by others. Thinking how this all happens, we imagine a God. We usually do not notice that all three of these sprang from ourselves. When through self-inquiry we discover this, there is only peace, the peace that comes from there being no other to fear, and no thing we do not have, so there is no desire, nothing to want. Desires come from the ego. There is nothing separate for the self to desire. Peace is freedom from desire. So to gain real peace, you must kill the ego. When you know who you are, your identity as the self, you also see that the ego, being unreal, has no existence to begin with. This is how the ego is said to die. How can something that never existed have any hold on you? Notice that you exist. Investigate just what this means, just who or what exists, and where. Discard all that comes and goes, and dive into what remains. Do you sense three here? or only one. Existence is singular. So are you. You just need to discover for yourself that no individual exists now, nor did it ever. Take a non-objective outlook. The world is real. No, it is a mere illusory appearance. The world is consciousness. No, the world is happiness. No, what use is it to argue thus? The state that is agreeable to all, wherein having given up the objective outlook, one knows oneself and loses all notions either of unity or duality, of oneself and the ego. Dualities are just mental constructs. To debate the reality of the world is like arguing over the scales of a snake that is finally found to be just a rope. The entire point of spiritual practice is to find out just who or what you are. This, called above having given up the objective outlook, brings peace and happiness to everyone. That is why Ramana said, that state is agreeable to all. When your mind gets quiet, you feel calm and at peace. Where does this peace come from? When your mind is quiet, you are no longer conjuring up the thoughts, memories, ideas, and projections that you usually seem to live in. What is different in these mental states? And if it is not conjured up, where does this peace come from? And why is this felt by everyone? Could it be that everyone is looking within to what is always there for everyone? What is to be found by such investigation? Who am I? The seeing self is the EYE-I of the I, EYE. If one has form oneself, the world and God also will appear to have form. But if one is formless, who is it that sees those forms and how? Without the eye, can any object be seen? The seeing self is the I, and that I is the I of infinity. How you see yourself determines how you see anything else. If you have a form, then so do others, the world and God. If you, though, are formless, so are the world and God. Inquire into yourself. Who knows? Use this inquiry to dive into your own consciousness. If you think it is the mind that knows, then ask, who knows this mind? And does this knower have a form?